Hello. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're all well, staying warm. It is freezing outside, but it's always fun to have the changes of seasons, isn't it? It's always a bit of fun. I hope that you're all really well. So excited to see you all. As you all know, every Wednesday you catch me live here at 8 o'clock. And today I presented at the Albury Northside Chamber of Commerce. They've had me come in a couple of times this year to do some business bites workshops for their members, which is really aiming at, small and medium business and giving them some really different tips on some bold moves that they can do to win big in business. And after today's session was something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I have found myself probably almost to the stage of obsession with how engrossed I am on this topic. And it's the topic of trust, and the topic of trust, perception, why trust is so important in business, in industry, and how you can leverage it and leverage your uniqueness with that trust to bring your market to you. So it's a really interesting concept that has me so engrossed in it. And over the last few years, what I've been able to do with my business to bring to life, I really enjoy sharing that with everyone. And after today's session, I had quite a few people reach out that weren't able to come, and a few people up in Sydney, and wanted to have a little bit of an insight into some of the things that we were watching and that we were talking about today. So I wanted to come in and just give you a couple little nuggets for you to be able to take away if you weren't able to be there today. And those of you that are actually in my industry and are licensed conveyancers, don't stress. This presentation will actually be coming to you at the Australian Institute of Conveyancers Canberra conference and also the Sydney conference. I'm one of the presenters at those industry conferences, the big national ones at Canberra and Sydney later this year. You will actually see this whole workshop. I will be doing that then, so you'll really get that in depth. So thank you to those conveyancers that actually reached out to me, and lawyers as well. You'll be able to do the whole workshop with me there. And that will be really industry specific, where today I made it really specific to anyone in business, whether you are career, whether you're self-employed, okay? So this is what we spoke about. We spoke about how important trust is. Hi everybody, thanks for jumping on. How important trust is. So when you are asking your customers or your clients to buy your products or services, you're asking them to take a trust leap, okay? So it's like a leap of faith. If you're asking someone to invest in your product and in your services, it's that leap that you're asking them to take. So what that means is the smaller the leap, that's what we call a small trust gap, which means that people feel rest assured, they feel that comfort, they feel confident that they can buy and invest with you because the leap gap, that trust gap, the leap that they need to make is so small. However, the larger the gap, so the larger the trust gap, the more concerning it is for them to be able to buy your products and services. So what you need to be doing at every single touch point with your customers is doing everything that you can to make sure that their perception of you is trustworthy and confidence, integrity, competence, so that what you're doing that whole time is actually reducing that trust gap. The smaller the trust gap, the more chance they have in investing in your products and services, because the easier they can do that. So what you're really trying to do is to make the unfamiliar more familiar. You want them to feel connected to you. The way people are buying now is changing. No longer are people buying products and services, they're buying people. They're buying stories, they're buying emotions, and they're buying solutions. So you need to find ways to be able to influence and impact in that way. There's a lot of people out there doing exactly what you're doing and getting really similar results, really similar. So you don't have to be the best, the biggest, the quickest, the cheapest. You just have to be different, okay? Being different, that allows you to be you, Start to sell your stories and your solutions that allow people to have those connections with you. And ultimately, the goal is that reduces the trust gap. It's all about having small trust gaps so that people can feel really confident every time you have a new product or a new service, or they need to do something that's of value to them. They can feel really confident investing with you. So it's all about what you can do with that trust gap. In the workshop today, we went into a lot more detail around that. We spoke about, making sure that you are portraying that trust at every single contact point. So whether it be in person, whether it be online, whether it be with a strong personal brand, whether it be first impressions. A Harvard study showed that your first impressions are made within 7 seconds of meeting someone. Only 7 seconds of meeting someone, and they have already subconsciously and consciously formed opinions about you that is going to affect your relationship, positive or negative. Now that's only seconds, so that's not even enough time for you to be able to get words out and enough content out for you to be able to say anything. That's all mostly body language, tone, the way that they feel about you, presence. So there's a lot going on there that you need to do every time you leave the house to make sure that you are starting to put yourself out in the world that you are trustworthy. So that was today. It was a really exciting workshop. We went into a lot more detail. We even played some exercises about what celebrities we considered trustworthy and untrustworthy. And it was really interesting because I got people to boo or clap depending on the level of, we did like a trust barometer, depending on the level of trustworthiness that they thought these celebrities and these famous Australian brands had. And it was really interesting. By doing this exercise, I showed them that trust that they felt was emotional. That was an emotional response to whether or not somebody or a brand is trustworthy. Now, trust is actually a highly contextual and subjective thing. If I said to you, do you trust this person to do this? Your answer may be yes. But if I asked you if you think that person is trustworthy, the answer could be no. So it's really interesting that is the way that we speak. This person is trustworthy. I trust this brand. I would never use that brand because they're not trustworthy. And that's the way that we speak. Every good relationship has trust. So it's that contextual way that brands and people make us feel, and that connection that we have them, that defines whether or not we think that they're trustworthy. So it's a really interesting concept. You can see why I've become so engrossed in it, and I just love teaching it because I love seeing people in moments in those talks where they light up and they can recognize those trust gaps in their business, in their career, between them and their customers. And it's tiny, small changes that you can make to have an absolutely huge impact on those trust gaps. Yeah? That's what it all comes down to. People are buying on emotions, they're buying people. Doesn't matter what you're selling, they want to buy people. They want to buy feelings, emotions, solutions. They want to buy stories. And that's how you're going to reduce the trust gap to your customers and your clients. And that smaller the gap, the more confident and easily those people are going to be able to buy with you. So it's really important that you are doing things to really be congruent with who you are and reduce those trust gaps. So it was a really fun day. I really enjoyed the interaction with a lot of people there. Some people were really bold and were really vulnerable and really shared some trust gaps that they identified that we were actually able to work through right then and there so that they could leave the room running, had a head start on their competition, being able to work on it there and then. So I wanted to come on and give you guys, if you missed it today, a couple of little truth nuggets for you to take away, for you to be able to action, realizing that it is that trust gap and leaps of trust that is what people want to invest in you, okay? The more people believe in your stories, the more they want to buy from you. That's as simple as that. And don't underestimate the power of storytelling. So real influence and influencers isn't about getting someone else to do something that you want. It's about getting someone else to believe in your mission, your vision, your goals. That is real influence, and that's where you're going to create real impact. Something to think about, okay? Thank you, everyone. It has been amazing. I will be doing another workshop for Chamber again soon. There has been talk that they may want me to redo this one because it was so popular. If you are a conveyancer and you're one of those people that actually reached out to me this afternoon and you're wanting to be involved in this workshop, I will be coming to you live at the Australian Institute of Conveyancers continuing education seminars. There's one in Canberra in September, and then they're flying me to Sydney to speak at the national conference. So I'll be there. We'll be able to workshop it. We'll be able to make sure it's really, specific to our clients and what we can do in that space. So don't worry, you're going to get this information as well. I can't wait to bring it on an even bigger scale. I think it's a really important message that a lot of us skip over, because it's about doing things that might make us feel a little bit uncomfortable and a little bit vulnerable. But what we want to do is make sure that our clients are not guessing who we are, that we are being ourselves, so that they can form those trust opinions with us, those first impressions, tiny little trust gaps so that people can believe in us, okay? Wednesday, I am done. I am out of here. I have had a massive day. I need to go chill. I need to go drink some tea. I need to relax. I've got a 5 a.m. alarm because the gym has my name on it. And I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, 8 p.m. And I'll bring some more little knowledge nuggets to you. Good night.